So this fence is in the middle of being built, so I'm gonna jump over here a few times. Just because I'm never gonna be able to after this. Because this fence is gonna be here for probably 50 years. Another 50 years. I think it's already been here for probably about 50 years. Last time a YouTube short, I was jumping here, and that was before the post was pounded, so I can't really jump here. Okay, I'm going to put together another quad video because I don't really have anything to film these days. I'm waiting for a clutch for my motorcycle, and I'm been fixing fences with my uncle. And we've put my truck to really good use. It's been the I use the truck to store all the tools and all the fence rails. And this is like a rally track in here for a quad. Like little humps. This is a lot of fun to drive in here. This thing's kind of underpowered and the straight axle is not as durable. Like that, if I jumped and landed really big, landed wrong, that axle could bend. But I'm going to try not to play with this thing too much because it's not a sport quad. I mean, I can't believe the sport quads have straight axles as well. If I were to make a sports quad myself, I would have the same body and shape with a maybe 600 engine in it. 4-stroke, it'd be a 4-wheel drive with the 2-wheel drive option. It'd be built the same, except for this back would have independent suspension. And that would, the only thing I'd do different is bigger engine and independent suspension. And this would be the ultimate sport quad. And it would also be a really good work quad as well. This track is so long, I really can't film too much. But I'm going to film the best I can. I'm just going to do a whole bunch of filming when the clutch comes from my motorcycle. That's going to be the most fun. thing just doesn't have enough power to get up these hills. It's only a 300. Speed like a 600 in the same quad would be so much better. Thing had such a low center of gravity. I couldn't even wheelie up there. crazy as me. Now it looks like this thing's gonna tip over going over that jump, but honestly I think I have control over it because it's got such a low center of gravity. It doesn't feel like it's gonna tip, if that makes any sense. So I feel very safe on this thing. So even though I don't have a helmet, you know, it's a pretty easy thing to jump off. Well, here's an upright quad. I should probably flip it over. Oh, it's flooded. That's pretty funny. Yeah, you can see there's gas leaking out, but there. That's what this is for, I think, because it's a flat surface. So if it tips over, when you tip it, wheel it too far, it never tips over on you because, you know, this thing's here. Because remember, all the weight is here. So this is like an L. The weight base is down here. This is like an L. So these things are designed pretty good, and I'm pretty impressed with this quad. jump. Since the fence is... There's my cool truck. Since the fence is not here right now, this is my only opportunity to... There's a bunch of our tires. This is my only opportunity to go off this jump. Can't go too fast because it might hit a post. But I think the quad would just stop. It won't break a post. That truck just looks so good with those 16-inch 5-lug rims on there. If anybody knows of any of those and you live in the Prince George area, let me know. Because I'm thinking if I had another 3 of those, that rim is the same as what's on my truck. Because I found 2 in our junk pile off of one of my uncle's old trucks. You know, from like the 70s or 50s. And lots of 15-inch rims like that. But I haven't found many 16. And then there are 16s, but they're for a car. So that the inside there is too small. So, and I have these, like, mud tires me and my uncle got for free. And so I thought if I have a set of wide tires like that, they're not as tall as the tires that are on there. I love the tires that are on there. They're nice and tall. These ones aren't as tall, but they're wide. You know, they're bald. But if I had another set of 16-inch rims, what if I could put this on there? This is a 16-inch tractor tire. And then there's a few other, like this here is a snow tire, but that's like an off-roading tire. And you can see there's a rip in it down there, but I don't care. I'd still use that on my truck. And then there's some of these don't have much life left in them, but you know, if someone has, you know, a few 5-lug 16-inch rims, I might like them, because then I could have a set of mud tires for this truck as well. Like the 15-inch rims and tires that were on there, these are for blacktop. Like those, they're small, they're short, they're useless. Well, these are trailer rims anyway. But those are just useless on a farm. You need something like that. Like this is a very old tire. This thing still has a decent amount of traction. In fact, I should almost take that off and use it. I think that's a 16-inch. Or it might be a 15-inch. And I think this is a 16-inch big tire. Or actually, this is a 15-inch rim with a big tire on it. They don't really make those anymore. But if I had another set of 16-inch 5-lug rims, now there's lots of 15-inch 5-lug, but the 16-inch, then I could put those big mud tires on, and that would be pretty fun. I mean, these don't have a lot of grip, but you can get a chainsaw and just cut grooves in it to give it more traction. Or, I don't know, maybe I could get another tractor tire and wrap it around. I still want to try that. That probably won't work, but it might. So I couldn't really drift over there. I think that's either two things. It's the tires have too much traction, or it's just because it's an all-wheel drive. Probably it's just an all-wheel drive. Now, the 97 has a weird part. It has a cable that goes to a thing on there. So I think the 97, this is a 98. The 97 had a four-wheel drive control. This one doesn't. I should probably do more research. I might be able to just put the switch in there and make it so it will run in two-wheel drive. Then you can drift it around and have a lot of fun on it. But a quad is better. It's better all-wheel drive than two-wheel drive, because you can go anywhere almost with this thing. Two-wheel drive quads, they suck because they're two-wheel drive and they're just pointless. Those sport quads are standard clutch. They're just pointless. I don't know why people think they're fun. All you can do with those is drift, do wheelies, and do hill climbs. But every video I've seen of someone going up a hill with those two-wheel drive quads, all they do is lose traction and they just come tumbling down the hill. They bust up into 1,000 pieces. So those things are no fun. I think they're stupid. But this thing, I mean, I saw all the fun stuff you could do with it. Now, I have drifted it before. Maybe just it's so dry and the dirt's so hard there, it doesn't really want to drift. But, drifting isn't that entertaining to me. I think the wheelies and side rides and going up these jumps and hill climbing and going down hills, that's more fun than drifting or, doing wheelies. So I think these things are just a better version of a sport quad. And to make this a sport quad, I mean, if it had a 600cc engine in it and it was able to, you had this two-wheel drive control. The dogs are about to attack me. There's three of them. We decided to keep her, so she's going to be seen a lot in the future. She's the last one. All the others are sold. So if you had independent suspension, a 600cc engine, and a two-wheel drive option, this would be the ultimate sport quad, because then you could drift and maybe do a wheelie. I mean, I don't really like wheelies, but if it had more power, then you could go up and do more hill climbing. No, just not on super steep hills. Or if it just had more power, it'd be more fun. And it'd probably be a lot more useful for towing, too. I mean, it already has. I like the way it is. It is a 300, but it's geared really low because of these stupid small tires. It's ridiculous. But in first gear, you could probably, if this thing had enough weight, in first gear, it could almost pull my truck on level ground. So, that's a lot of power for a little quad. But it's got more torque than power with these small tires on. And I don't know, it just seems to really not that different from the others. The 420 we have seems to have less power with this, even with the small tires, almost. Because sometimes it's just really boggy. I think that 420 is the 420 Honda Foreman 420. It's just a bad model. Because it smokes like crazy, it burns oil, it doesn't have enough power. This thing is just better at everything. It's more fun to play with, and I find it's more useful because it's smaller, so you can kind of go weave through the trees and the bush, and it's just a little bit more agile. Another thing I wish this thing had is if it could steer a little tighter, because that's like as tight as it goes. And this tire, that could be going out to here almost. So, or even just like another inch this way, because I find this thing doesn't turn very tight. That might actually have to do with the fact that this is a straight axle quad. So it's like a welded differential on a car or something. It's a straight axle, so when you turn, this wheel has to slip a little bit. That's not too bad for a quad, but I prefer the independent suspension there. I think, like, to take our other quad is getting a new axle, because the problem with the straight axle quads, the axle strips out. Maybe not on these 300s, but on our 420, it's a newer bad design, and the axle's actually stripped out on it. So that's why I like the independent suspension, because your axles are actually a lot easier to change, and the differential is a lot easier to change. And the drive shaft that goes from the engine to the differential is easier to change. On this thing, it looks like they have to take apart the whole suspension and rear axle design just to replace the gearbox, because this is a gearbox, not a differential. So these straight axle quads are not as good. I think I'm just coming to that conclusion. I like the other ones better. These ones aren't that much better for towing. The other ones are okay. But, I mean, at work, it's okay. It's not bad. They're both about the same, but I prefer the other one better, because it's mechanically easier to fix. And I don't think they actually wear out as much. So, yeah. I guess that's it for this video, since I don't really have anything else to film right now. What's the dog doing?